You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Wanted to talk to you about some of the reveals at D23 this past weekend. It was a significant weekend in a number of ways. Usually when they have D23, Disney, its own convention, Disney will usually pull back from their the reveals and their presentation at Comic-Con, which was just a few weeks ago. There were years in which Disney did nothing at Comic-Con to save it all for D23. But they had a huge presentation at Comic-Con right before they got to D23. And if you look at what has been revealed at D23, then you can realize that, wow, they held a lot back. And there was so much good news coming out of this. I understand why they could do so much at both conventions. There was enough real estate for both. I was looking through this list, and I'll go through it very quickly. I am excited, personally excited, for just about everything which was revealed. Just about everything. And I'll run down the list. And I say not everything because I'm not a fan of the Disney live-action movies. I'm just not.
Yeah.
That's about it. And I say that to, off the top, Mufasa, the Lion King. Lin-Manuel Miranda's going to be doing it, and it's going to be a prequel to The Lion King. I'm just not interested in the live action. I'm quite sure kids will love it. Maybe Tuala will love it. I won't love it.
No, I didn't like the first one.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, yeah. So we're agreed in that. I am a huge fan of Tron. I wanted for years for there to be a Tron sequel, and I loved Tron Legacy, even though it didn't do well in theaters. I love Tron visually, storyline, the fact that they picked up the story right after the original Tron. Look, I cannot wait for Tron Ares the Third in the trilogy. And they only made me wait, 14 years? It's like I'm getting old now. Hurry up and get this done. Snow White, live action, whatever.
Nah.
Yeah. Mark, any interest in the live action movies?
No, and I really wasn't on board with Tron either.
Okay, you can stop talking now.
No, I didn't see Tron when it came out.
The original?
I saw Tron right before the sequel came out, so I watched them both rapid fire, and I was just sitting there thinking, what's the deal here? This is a thing of its time, right?
Okay, all right. Well,
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, look, I'm just sorry. I'm very disappointed in you tonight.
I think we can agree on something else you're going to have on the list.
That's true. Freakier Friday is coming out.
Why they're doing it?
Yeah, that's not the one.
No.
But I see why they're doing it. Yeah.
Look, if you're a fan of Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, it's hard to believe that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago. And that's not even the original. I saw the original in movie theaters in the 1970s.
Yeah, did they swap teeth in this one?
You're just not nice.
What?
You're just not.
I can't take you anywhere in public.
Look at you.
David Blaine has a new show. Hopefully he will not kill himself in the process. Former guest on the show. He came on and talked about his Las Vegas show, how dangerous it was, and then he went out and got seriously injured in his Las Vegas show. But he has a new show coming to National Geographic next year. So I will definitely be interested in that. If you're a fan of the Marvel television series, you have Agatha All Along, which is a sequel to WandaVision. Many years in the making, led by actress Kathryn Hahn, who I think is so talented.
I'm looking forward to after the new trailer. I'm on board. The first trailer, the teaser, I was like, what is this? No. The new trailer that they showed after D23, I'm like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, Kathryn Hahn, when she gets to use the full range of her abilities, I think she's going to be magnificent in that.
She's terrific, but isn't that the worst title you've ever heard?
Only if you don't know WandaVision. You have to know the story of WandaVision to know how they came up with Agatha All Along.
I worry that the title is so crappy that it's going to drive people away, though.
But it's a musical, and
Agatha All Along is like an inside thing for folks who watch the series.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now we should all agree: Daredevil, Born Again.
Amen.
So good.
Look, and not only that, they've already said we got one season in the can. We're already started on season 2, so they know that this is going to be a huge hit, and that's coming in March of 25. Ironheart, I'm iffy on. It depends on. I'm iffy because what I saw and how they rolled out Ironheart and Wakanda Forever, I was not a real big fan of.
Okay.
So it depends on how they tell this particular story.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Fantastic Four. and Captain America: Brave New World, I'm ready for both.
Absolutely.
Right. That goes without saying.
100%.
The Mandalorian and Grogu. Look, that's going to be directed by Jon Favreau of obviously Iron Man directing fame and also Iron Man co-star. I trust him with Star Wars. What he's shown me in The Mandalorian says that he is much of a Star Wars geek as I am. He understands the universe. He understands the fan base and can give the people what they want. I can only imagine with an actual cinematic budget what he plans to do.
And this is written by one of the greatest Star Wars series writers ever, Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is like the god of Star Wars.
Those two together, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
Andor season 2. I wasn't real high on the first season, but Twala, I know you loved the first season.
Loved it.
I thought it got better at the end. I didn't like the first 3 or 4 episodes. I thought I was, walking through the desert with no water. It's like, are we going anywhere?
As long as you accept that the main character, Andor, really isn't that important in this show, it's got some good stuff going for it. But he's not really a hero you care about spending time with.
No, and I think that's a part of the problem for me. Diego Luna is a fine actor, but his overall relevance to the larger story of the Death Star and what have you, it was fine as an ensemble piece in Rogue One. I cared less about him individually in the series.
The most interesting person in that show was Stellan Skarsgård.
Well, I think the whole show about Andor is about the war. He may be kind of the person you're following around, but you're following the war in Star Wars. And that's what made Andor so compelling.
All right, quickly before we go to break, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, I don't know.
That's for kids.
Yeah. Frozen 3, that's going to be a huge hit. The first 2 movies made more than $1 billion. I'm guessing the third one will be more than $1 billion as well. Zootopia 2, not for me.
Yeah. I don't like Zootopia 1.
Incredibles 3, all in on that one.
Yep.
Can't wait. Hoppers, I don't know much about this. John Hamm and...
They didn't say a lot about it.
Yeah. Toy Story 5, can't go wrong there. Sorry, just can't.
But it can also be too long on the tooth.
It can be, but you have to have a bad one or one that doesn't do well before they're going to say that.
True.
It's time to hang up the series. Look at Despicable Me 4. I know it's another studio, but I'm saying if Despicable Me 4, I think an inferior franchise can have such success. We all know what Toy Story can do. You have people now who saw the first one as a child, and now they're taking their kids to the Toy Story movies.
And I still cried at 4, so whatever.
I cried at 3 and 4. Who said that? Inside Out, TV spinoff. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I finally got around to seeing both of them. Yes. Avatar, Fire and Ash. No.
That's for you, dude.
No.
I will never watch an Avatar movie.
Never again.
Nope.
Monster Jam, Dwayne Johnson. No. Moana 2, yes.
Moana's actually my favorite, one of my favorite Disney movies. I've seen it at least 40 times right now.
I was actually, there are other ones I want to see a sequel to, and some of the movies that in the Pixar universe, they don't lend themselves to sequels. I would like to see a sequel to Up. I would like to see, just where that story went after that. And maybe if you do, you ruin the special nature of the first one because,
I think so.
It's perfect the way it is. It's Later with Mo Kelly. When we come back, we're going to tell you about how, the air taxi service, it might be coming to L.A. sooner than you think. We'll put it this way. It's slated to come to L.A. before the Olympics get to L.A.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later.
Mr. Mo Kelly here, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And I always wanted to live to see the flying car. I don't know if we'll ever get there. We've had a number of conversations. I don't know if the technology is a point where you and I can have a flying car, that will take off vertically, go down the 405 and say, forget this traffic, I'm taking off vertically. But we may see some approximation of that in the form of air taxis. And air taxis may be a reality here in LA by 2026, as in advance of the World Cup and in advance of the Olympics. Archer Aviation, the aircraft service, says it plans to use existing infrastructure at locations which include USC, LAX, Hollywood Burbank Airport right down the street, and SoFi Stadium Their goal is to quickly get travelers over traffic-choked roads, as I was talking about, to their destination using multi-propeller air taxis that the company says are significantly quieter than helicopters. The FAA recently cleared the Santa Clara-based electric air taxi company to test its aircraft commercially ahead of an official public launch, which will occur first in Chicago and Newark. All right. And they have 2 confirmed routes working with United Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the chief commercial officer, Nikhil Goel, who says, quote, "These are our first announced infrastructure deals in L.A. I think we're making a lot of progress around how we're working with cities and building out some of our early networks." But in terms of L.A., an L.A. launch requires clearance from the FAA, and we know they oversee airspace and local and state agencies that set requirements for regulations and infrastructure, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But before launch, locations need to be electrified for charging, and clear rules of air traffic operations need to be set. Should go without saying. At USC, there are 4 helipads which have rarely been used because of noise and costs. Archer, according to the CEO, the president has said, quote, "has built out a relationship with the university and the administration there to be able to use those for visitors, for guest speakers, for people who live far away from campus, who would have to travel a distance." And Archer's also working with Southwest Airlines. So what I gather from this, Tuala, tell me if I'm wrong. This is another form, I can't say a cheaper form, but another form of, my word, helicopter-like travel, but it would be electric. It would be quieter. I don't know of the cost. It's not clear as far as, is it like where you would book a helicopter in the way that the very wealthy would use it to go here and there, or is it more affordable where more of the general public would be inclined to use it?
No, in the beginning, the launch of this will be for the wealthy. It'll be for those who can charter a plane and things like that, right? And to be for businesses who want to fly a client. You know, you have an artist, you need to get them from the airport to a venue closer, things like that. You hire this company.
I wonder what the range is. Are we talking about 120 miles? Like, for example, let's say you have someone who is going to be performing at SoFi Stadium because they said SoFi would be a location. Could you fly someone in from San Diego? You know, or is that too far?
I would say that may be too far for an electric vehicle. From my understanding, these don't have that long of a charge to begin with, but they can get someone, say, from, I don't know, Burbank to
LAX or
something like that. Yeah. But to me, this breaks ground and makes way for, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the implementation of the flying cars, which are also supposed to be coming to LA by 2028, I think it is. So we're on our way, man.
This is interesting, if only because given the handing of the baton from Paris to LA, I wonder how these emerging technologies will have a role to play in the upcoming Olympics, because this is supposed to be rolled out before the World Cup. Yeah. And since it's supposed to be available for the wealthy, this would be something that would be perfect. And I put that in air quotes, perfect for the wealthy folks who want to be part of these events and where money is not an object. And they can say, yeah, I need to fly from, I don't know, Manhattan Beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
To SoFi Stadium. Yeah. So I can be there in time for the opening ceremonies or something like that.
Yeah.
But yes, it does signify a direction that we're moving relative to travel. Will it be successful? Will it be feasible? We're going to find out real quick. You know, I'm not going to find out because I don't have that type of money. Maybe Mark has that type of money. I sure do. No.
No, I do not have that type of money. However, Tuala, who is in the pocket, as I remind you, of Big Air Taxi, I think he can treat us for a ride.
You're not wrong, Mark. You're not wrong.
Look, all I'm saying is that this paves the way. We were talking about flying cars and how it's going to be harder for them to get here. No, this paves way. Once they create the air traffic lanes and the ability to fly lower and in and around buildings, establish more helipads and ports where these VTOL vehicles can take off and land. This paves the way of the flying car. Mo literally was passed by a Waymo.
That's right.
And the Waymo didn't stare him down. It didn't chase him. It didn't try to Christine him.
Well, I was inside and I was safe.
Did you just use Christine as a verb?
I was safe inside my dojon, okay, my Korean Hapkido studio.
And it didn't try to challenge you, didn't ask you to step outside.
Well, it was driving by. It knew better than not. It knew not to stop, okay? He didn't want none, okay? That much I know. All right, so the Waymo, since we're changing gears, pun intended, I first thought it was one of those Google Maps type cars, like it was mapping the city because it had all these cameras and sensors around it. And as it got closer, it's like, oh, that's a Waymo. It was unfortunately on the other side of the street, so I couldn't quite really see that the windows were slightly tinted, and with the light, I couldn't see, the absence of a driver. But it was clearly marked as a Waymo, so I know that they're at least going to Culver City. Yep, I'm not getting in one of those death traps. Absolutely not.
You might need to.
No,
just to get you to the summer session.
Nope. But what Tual is talking about, since I mentioned my Korean Hapkido studio, we're having an open house and free lessons for new students, kids or adults, this Saturday. You can go to my Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly or at Later with Mo Kelly. Get the information there. You can sign up. We'd love to have you. I'm going to be teaching the classes for both kids and adults this weekend with the help of the other black belts. If you had the curiosity about taking a martial art, it's never too late, regardless of your age or ability. In fact, the older you are, the smarter you'll actually be, because it's easier to teach a complicated martial art like this to someone who has a little bit of life experience behind him or her. It's great for men, women, and kids. So bring your kids. You can come out yourself. You can get more information at songshapkidowestla.com, or you can go to my Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly or at Later with Mo Kelly. Get information there and sign up, and we'd love to have you this coming Saturday. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And if you don't know, I don't particularly care for bees. In fact, I would say it's a phobia. And the only way I could describe it is, imagine a bee inside the studio, whether you've seen it or not, just in some enclosed area where I am. And if that bee is threatening me in any way, in other words, just flying around, I am willing to kill everyone in the studio to get out. It does not matter. And no, I'm not exaggerating. My own wife didn't believe me until she almost caught an elbow walking with me one day when some bees started flying around. I've almost wrecked my car when a bee flew inside. True story. Almost wrecked it on the 110 freeway. Yes, I've been stung before, so it's not abstract. But, folks, Elmer's running the board today. But if Steph were here, he'd probably make fun of me. It's not funny at all. It's very serious. Very, very, very serious. So when Tuala sent me this story, I know deep down inside, he's mocking me. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not sensitive. But did you hear about the driver who was attacked by a swarm of bees after crashing his car to an Orange County home over the weekend? Now, we don't know why he crashed his car, but evidently when he crashed his car, it also disrupted a beehive. Why the house had a beehive on it, I don't know. But the collision knocked loose a hive of bees, and the bees immediately took it out on the driver. They knew that the driver of the car was responsible, and so tried to kill the driver. Officers with the Buena Park Police Department responded on the August 10th to this collision, which is just after 12 p.m. This is broad daylight. I don't know what the situation was with the driver, but the driver was immediately attacked, and they needed to bring in the fire department to hose down the beehive, as they say, to cool off the hive, and also be able to administer first aid to the driver. It's a very, very sad story. Very, very sad. Very sad. Medical personnel with the Orange County Fire Department stepped in, and they took the driver to the hospital to be treated for multiple stings. I don't know if the driver was under the influence. I don't know what precipitated it. But to think that you crash into someone's house, that's bad enough. Thank goodness no one inside was harmed. But then to have the bees take out their anger on the driver. I can only wonder what's going through that man's, I assume it's a man, the driver's mind.
But the bees were just minding their own business. It sounds like you're not on their side.
I will never be on the sides of the bees. Never. Never. They probably were illegally squatting. Their hive probably had no business being attached to that person's house. Shouldn't have been there in the first place. They're just like any other homeless person. Got to clear out the encampment.
What?
Get rid of them bees.
These bees were probably providing honey and soothing, relaxing sounds to this homeowner when
kill them all.
When this car owner, whether they be drunk, high, we don't know what was wrong with the car driver, but you go into the house. Mo, if I crash into your house, you're coming outside. You, the dogs, everyone, and I'm sure I'm going to be beaten too.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, maybe you were in distress. Maybe you had a heart attack. I actually had more than one friend. One had a seizure. One had a heart attack while driving. Not to get morbid, but that's the truth. Things happen while people are driving.
And what if I'm like, oh, sorry, man. I didn't see your house right there, man. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get home, and you smell, a gin factory in the car. You know what? This is a different situation.
No, this is the actual truth. I will answer this seriously. The story says it happened at 12:10 p.m. That means it's sunlight out. Everyone can see what I would do, and I would not to do the same thing in the daytime that I would at nighttime.
Oh, 12:10 p.m.
If it was 12:10 a.m., someone might get the ass whooped. I got cover of night helping me.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different. But 12:10 p.m., I can't come out swinging. I just can't.
That's different.
That's all.
Okay. Okay.
But the bees, kill them all. Kill every single one. I don't want to hear about the ecological balance. I don't want to hear about any of that. Get rid of them. Get them off the face of the earth. Every single one.
This man caused this problem. Or this woman. This driver caused the problem.
Okay. I'm not siding with the bees ever.
I suppose the bees should have just come out and offered him a drink or something.
No, the bees should not have jumped. They should not have rushed to judgment, okay? We don't even know what happened with the driver. We don't know, okay? The bees haven't reported any casualties. They're just mad about their house.
We don't have to. You hate nature. You're the Pol Pot of bees.
I don't hate nature. I hate bees. Let's be very specific. I'm a bee-assist.
You are the Stalin of bees. You want them all gone.
I like to think of myself as the Lenin of bees.
Yeah.
There's a difference, okay? Mussolini.
Uh-huh.
But no, not Stalin. That's a little too harsh.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Hey, Mark Ronner.
Yes, Mo.
I am 4 episodes in for the final season of Umbrella Academy. I am thoroughly enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
I got 2 more to go. I did want to rush through them trying to get to work today. So I said, let me just save them for tonight when I get home. Let me just ask you this. Here's the question. Does the ending tie up everything? I think I know where they're going to put a bow on everything, but were you completely satisfied?
I was, and I've actually been thinking about it because it's a little bit of an emotional ending, and I don't really want to say anything else except you were going to be fully satisfied. It ties in with the beginning of the series and the origin that was revealed of all the you remember that the kids, their powers were traced to a drug that pregnant mothers were given, right?
Yes.
It all comes full circle, all of it.
Let me ask you this. Does it leave open the possibility for a movie to tell another story?
Anything's possible, but I think you're going to find that it's not necessary.
Oh, I like that. It leaves you full. I'll say fulfilled.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't find any fault with it. And my fear is that it's going to get lost amid there's so much stuff like this out right now to consume, but this is really top notch.
I like when a TV show says, yeah, we could go on for another 2-3 seasons, but we're not. We're just going to tell a complete story. We don't need 7 seasons. We're going to give you 4 and leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, it got me thinking of how much they milked Dexter and how mad I still was about Dexter New Blood. And they're going to revive him again for 2 more series, one where he's just the narrator. And it's like, don't you understand the word enough? Is there never enough?
Yeah, I know fans will always want more, but I still want to feel like that they've done enough without trying to stretch it too thin. I don't want to feel like either the writers or actors are just mailing it in and the series is not going anywhere and every episode is just a filler episode.
I mean, the thing is, I think everybody watching the show would watch a whole spin-off series with the 5 character.
Yeah, and I finally noticed, or at least by episode 4, he's looking a little older. I mean, in the sense of he looks like he's turning into a man. I don't know how old Aidan Gallagher was when they started the series.
I don't know. He's one of those actors who's fortunate that there are some people roughly that adolescent age who look like fully grown men right away. Mm-hmm. He doesn't. He could play anything for quite some time. And there's the first reveal of him when you catch up to all the characters. He's sporting a mustache, and it's hilarious.
Oh, it's so funny, and I can't wait for him to just break out as an actor because the talent is so obviously there. It lends itself. He just needs to find the right vehicle.
Honestly, everybody in the show is a terrific actor. The actor who plays the half man, half ape.
Luther, yes.
Luther.
He's so underappreciated.
He's hilarious.
His facial expressions, because for those who don't know, he's number 1. He's cast as this idiot with super strength, and he never understands the severity of a situation. He just never gets it. But the way he plays it is just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, Luther's kind of an imbecile, and he's got a new career as this series starts, and watching him pursue that, it's priceless. It's really funny.
And I'm also enjoying the depth that they're showing the layers to Klaus, his internal struggles, his struggle with who he is, the demons inside of him. I actually like that.
Yeah, Klaus is hilarious as well. And that's another actor who you could spend a whole series just watching his reactions to things and how put upon he is about pretty much everything. Because Klaus was the big junkie all through the series. Mm-hmm. And in this season rather, he's on the wagon and everything is annoying to him now that he's on the wagon and can't have anything.
And I guess there is some underlying statement about society if I look deep enough, but it's one of those series where you don't have to look too deep. Just you can enjoy it for what it is. I don't think it's trying to make a grand statement. I guess it's making a statement about what constitutes family. What is a normal family? And this is a family that is longing to be normal with or without powers. And then I think they realize along the way that their family's dysfunctional, just like everyone else's, except that their power's involved.
Yeah, I think that's one really touching aspect of the show is that they really can't stand each other. They all think everybody else in the family's an a-hole, but they're always there for each other when stuff starts hitting the fan.
And you know what? Honestly, going back to Luther, I think he's the only one who isn't an a-hole. I think he genuinely wants the family to be together, just has no idea how to make it happen.
Now, don't forget the sentient chimp that we really haven't seen in a while. But that's another one who I would love a whole spinoff on that. It kind of makes me want to delve into the comics, which I was never into, but I just haven't gotten around to that yet. But you can get all that stuff free from the library on your iPad. So I'm going to do that because we're not going to have any more Umbrella Academy after this season.
But it's another reminder why I will never give up. I can't say never, but I don't plan to ever give up my Netflix subscription because they keep giving stuff which is really, really thought-provoking. It's well-produced. I get more of my money's worth out of that streaming service than any other one.
And I think it's good to show appreciation when they spend the time and the money to give us a quality show like that. Because, if they don't hear something, like HBO can be ruthless about canceling shows.
Yes. After a season or something.
Yeah.
And this, for me, it's real difficult to get emotionally involved with a show. And Umbrella Academy is one I watched from the very beginning. And I'm always concerned about investing too soon and then feeling disappointed if and when it gets canceled before there's even a season 2. And for the most part, Netflix is pretty good about, I would say that they've canceled some, but by and large, they haven't canceled a lot of their big series.
Yeah, I am still wondering why there's only 6 episodes in this one. So maybe it was a compromise and it was sort of on the bubble and they just said, okay, we'll let you wrap it up. That's fine. Something else we should note is that the Lila character, who's the sort of British Indian woman character, she gets a ton more screen time this season, and she's a pretty interesting character.
I like her character arc. It never felt superfluous. It didn't feel like it was just thrown in there because they didn't have enough story to tell. There's a lot of story that they're telling in this final season. You know that they're going somewhere. There's a very specific destination, and it doesn't feel like for example, the last season of Game of Thrones. It doesn't feel like the typical last season where, okay, we're limping to the finish line with no real story to tell.
Oh no, Game of Thrones. Even the people who starred in that are dumping on it at this point and explaining how much it just crapped the bed. This was solid from start to finish, and now you can watch all 4 seasons in a row instead of having to wait. It's been quite a wait between the 3rd and 4th
3 years. Was it like 3 years in between seasons?
You could be right. I forget, but it's been so long that I was surprised when it popped up on the Netflix menu, and I let out a little squeal.
Well, you said it on Friday, and I'm going to co-sign that. See The Umbrella Academy. Watch it from season 1, episode 1. It's very much episodic in nature. You got to watch it from the beginning because it tells a continuing story throughout. But it's even better when you get to binge it so you don't have to wait for the next episode. Highly recommend. KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
News without the skew.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.